Hey, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Project Muse. This is our third episode. In this episode, our prompt is beating a dead horse. We picked an auto-generated phrase of 3 words, and beating a dead horse was it. So we both had our take on it. What's currently up right now is going to be my take. Sean, did you have fun doing this?
No. No, I did not.
No? Oh,
No.
same. I didn't have fun either. I ended up liking it, but yeah, no, this was pain
It
doing this.
we'll talk about it when we get to mine, but we have yours
Yeah,
queued up first. I see you have your speed draw ready. Are you ready to
yeah,
discuss it?
yeah. Let's go for it. Let's go into it.
All right. Whoops. Wrong button. This is the button I wanted. There we go.
Nice.
Okay, so I saw a
Okay,
flash of
so
a horse.
yeah, so this is very long because you moved during this time, so that gave me plenty of time to do stuff.
Yes.
And when you give me time to do stuff, I do a lot of stuff. So I'm wondering if you're gonna figure out kind of what I was what inspired me exactly. I'm gonna wait for you to go, "Oh, I see." You let me know when you get it.
Is it Dark
Um,
Souls?
yes, you got it. Yeah, it's the meme with like I think it's Yar. What's the giant's name? Uh, anyway, there's a giant, and it's like from that one meme where it's just like in this it would be like at the bottom. Uh, Sean's expectations, and the giant horse would be like Brian's ambition,
Yeah. Actually, yeah.
or something, or something like that. But so yeah, and like you see me going in, I did a lot of thumbnails in the beginning to figure out how it was going to be, and then once the idea came to do beating a dead horse to literally beating a dead horse like it's a Dark Souls boss. That's the route it ended up going. Um, and yeah, I just kind of was ripping straight off of that picture, started like kind of reworking how they did it in the picture, but changing a few things because you can never get it exact, especially if you like pay if you look close to that picture, there's a lot of impressionist things they do. So, like the swords on the bottom, I drew a few, but like in the thing, there really isn't. There's just like a couple of cross shapes, and you're supposed to think that, oh yeah, that's a sword. So there's a lot of things that I kind of had to make up myself.
Hmm.
Um, this, so like, yeah, it did take a couple days to end up doing this thing, but yeah, I was just color picking, which actually that helped me so much because I was trying to figure it out on my own, and I'm like, screw it, I'm just gonna pick directly from the picture to get the right colors so that it feels more like it. I think at the end it finally like looks like it. It took me a while to get to that place, but you caught it right in the beginning, so
Yeah, yeah, I got real Dark Soul vibes by the stance, the power stance of the horse.
yeah,
That
yeah.
horse ain't
And I
taking
changed.
shit.
Wait till you see its power stance in a couple seconds. Did I already fix it? You'll see. But yeah, I actually ended up watching a lot of tutorials because, like, what that picture is, like it's a meme, right?
Uh-huh.
But uh, like if you actually look at it, it's kind of well done. Like certain things that they did, the choices they made, it's kind of nice. I wish
Mhm.
I looked more into it and figured out the artist, but I might actually after this. But yeah, they have like a very painterly style, and that is different when we're talking digital art than like regular painting.
Yeah, yeah. See, I've never played the
So.
Dark Souls games, but I've always appreciated the art style and the lore of it. I just
Mhm.
they're not my it's not my style of game to play like RPGs. I prefer like shooters because I'm a normie. But
Right.
I really appreciate that art style. It's just like it fits the theme and the lore of that game. I just can't be bothered to memorize boss attack patterns and time dodges.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you on that. Like it's one of those games where I can play it
Yeah.
and have a go at it, and it's fun. You know what it is to me? It's like an arcade game. Like there's
Yes.
fun arcade games out there and I'll play them, but like I'm not I'm not gonna play them all the time.
Yeah,
Um,
and
I'm kind of
I'm not above admitting that I'm too bad at the game to also enjoy it. So there's that as well.
there you go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll say
Well,
it.
yeah, and I like to what you were saying.
That's so
I'll,
cool.
I'll say it. Thank you. Yeah, like I said, like the style is you were kind of saying is like it matches the game,
Yeah,
in that it's dread, I think is like the vibe.
yeah,
Dread and epic hero journey is what they go for. And you get a lot of that when you have little tiny people versus giant, enemies. And then dampen the color scale all the way down and then make everything else on fire. That's kind of it. So, um, that's kind of what I had to try to learn how to do without making someone on fire, make it look like there's embers inside them. And that was kind of hard to do, but I watched a lot of tutorials on like what to do, and even right here like with what I'm doing isn't what I end up actually kind of going with. Like I'm doing the right method, which is you you put two colors next to each other. So like let's say I put like a red and then a black, and then I take that red with a color dropper. Actually, you can see right here. See how it's all smoothed out?
uh-huh,
What I did was I color dropped next to it and then took that blend of those two colors, color dropped next to that, and so on and so on. So it
uh-huh.
eventually blurred out into a blended out nicely. And you got to get the right brush for it, to really give it a good effect. But I think I figured it out at the end. Yeah. So I think I've said this before in other episodes, but like I truly hit a moment where this like felt so ugly because every piece has an ugly phase, and you're just like, this isn't right. But once I did that sky actually in the background with how it looks, I'm like, okay, if I can do the rest of the piece the way I did that sky, then I think we got something. So now I'm at that point. I'm like, okay, time to do that style, but to everything. So I got the right brush, I got the right method. Now I'm just kind of making things look a little gritty. And then right here, try to figure out how to make embers on this dang horse. And then halfway through, my brush tool turns into a pencil, and then I really can't figure out what I'm doing, which I think you'll see in a little bit here. It took me like a good 30 minutes. I was like looking up videos, I was trying to figure out what's going on. And then I looked over and my brush was a pencil, and that's why I couldn't do what I was trying to do.
Yeah, that's a phenomenon we call brain rot. It's just when you're just so locked in and hyper focused on things that everything else just kind of fades away in your mind. You just
Yeah,
become so hyper focused that your brain literally just rots everything else out of it for that moment.
I only knew one thing, which is to put the stylus onto the canvas. That's it.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and I right here, so the thing always have struggled with, and I'm getting better and better the more we do this show, it's the values. And so like the fur of this horse, when light hits it, it's got to be different from when light hits a piece of metal on its head. So you can't have the same shine or the same shadow happen. So I had to figure out how to give them the right values. Uh, and like the metal I have here, I was like, oh, this is cool metal, but I erase it at the end. You'll see, because it doesn't match the style of the original piece, but you'll see how I kind of work my way around that. I also had to study horse anatomy, which was a
Did you
process.
get a trapper keeper with like a bunch of stickers and then just write in a notebook all day about how much you want to ride horses?
Yeah, I became a horse girl
Yeah,
for a little
went back to
while.
middle school. It was like a whole thing.
Yeah,
It was
I
my move took a
grew my,
while.
grew my hair out. Yeah, I'm a different person now. I love horses.
They
Um,
are powerful, majestic creatures.
Yeah, we're gonna stop recording the show now because I'm just all in on horses now. There's no
Yeah,
point
well,
not.
I've always loved, like, I go to Chincoteague, was a very popular family vacation spot of mine, and they're like famous for their ponies, like wild ponies. So like
Mhm.
I've always like loved looking at wild horses and ponies and shit. It's just like
They are.
muscular and jacked creatures.
They really are. And like I got to a point here where like I was drawing the horse and its muscles and junk, and I'm like, am I exaggerating? And then I looked at pictures like, no, they're beefy. So like you see
Yeah,
here, I took directly from the picture, put it on the canvas just so I could look at it. Um, and like go, okay, metal looks like this in this game, like the types of metal
yeah,
that
it's like a
enemies might
Damascus
have.
pattern.
Hmm. That was fun to make. Um, but yeah, once I figured out like that, then the technique just kind of followed that I already figured out. So we're at this point, I was really frustrated that I had to redo something. But once I started doing it, I'm like, okay, I know what I'm doing. So, oh, and I learned a really cool lighting technique on that chest plate too, which I'll explain later. But I was happy I did that because it actually taught me something. But
Well, that's the
yeah,
point of
things
this whole
based.
thing, ain't it?
It kind of is, kind of fully is. So here's where I totally change everything again. I'm like, all right, this has got to change. And I literally see how I'm like graphing the parts of it onto it and then
Uh
just
huh.
like sketching over it.
No, that's smart.
Yeah, it was like, you know what? I'm tired. This works.
No, it's the technology. You got to use the technology, dude.
Yeah.
Like, what's the point of
Um,
paying for Photoshop if you're not gonna fucking use Photoshop?
very good, very good point. 100%. So yeah, now I'm at the point where I'm just making things look pretty. I've gotten all the parts where I wanted them to be. I got the style where I needed to. Now I'm adding particles, lighting, um,
You should sell this as
fixing
a
things.
poster, dude.
I really, so that's it. That's the piece.
Holy
And then,
shit, that's awesome.
thank you. Oh
Yo,
yeah, I'm so.
that's
It
like
looks
the
good.
Can you fucking save that as like a like phone screen resolution? It's like the
I
perfect
on this.
canvas guys size
I
for a
just.
phone.
I was thinking of that before we recorded. I was like, oh shit, because it's a meme, right? So you pull it up on your phone.
Yeah,
That's why it works so good. And I'm like, oh, you know what? Yeah,
that's
it works
so
good for.
crazy.
Do you want to
Wait, hold
pull up
on.
the picture so I can
I
look at
have
it for a
the
second?
picture. Hold on.
Yay!
Uh, uh,
Yeah,
stop yelling.
I'm okay. All right. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I freaked the hell out there. My bad. But yeah, I really took
That's your
the
video. That's not it.
beating a dead horse literal. Um, actually, the
Boom.
when you and I were talking, oh, you got it going.
I got it. Now I just gotta fix it on our thingy so you
Cool.
can see it. But bam. There you
But
go.
bam, there it is.
Yeah. That's like that would be perfect for like a phone. That's awesome, dude.
Thank you. Yeah, it turned out great. I'm happy we did this challenge because like it was just a random phrase, right? And we're like, "What do
Uh-huh.
we do?" And we're just sitting there, like, "I don't know. Should we pick another phrase? Should we pick another phrase?" And then both you and I had an idea at the same time. We were like, "Oh, I got it." And this was kind of my idea, like actually fighting a undead zombie horse.
Yeah. It's fucking sweet.
Thanks. Totally stole from someone, but did my own twist.
If I were a 13-year-old boy again, I would hang this up in my room.
That is the best compliment I've ever gotten.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you like it.
That's
And
really cool.
thanks. I might do the thing. I think every episode you and I are gonna like take one of our pieces and add it to our life somehow. It seems like how this thing's going. So now this is a phone screen.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, well, we can talk about this more after. I want to hear your piece because
Okay.
I've been wanting to hear your piece.
So let me just preface this by saying this was the worst thing I've ever done in my life creatively.
Okay. All
And
right.
what I mean by that is nothing I wanted to do worked. And in the process of this, my family, my wife and my daughters, we were in the process of a move, which got delayed like 3 weeks. It got delayed a week like three different fucking times because mortgage companies are fucking dickheads. Is the end of the story. So I was trying to work on this project all throughout that whole fucking thing. I had my initial idea was I was going to write a country song and I was going to use Chat GPT to write country lyrics for the song in the style of like outlaw country legends like Willie Nelson or Johnny Cash. And I had everything set up. I had like the song roughly laid out and I was ready to like record vocals, and my fucking mic just wasn't working for the software and I couldn't get it to work. And at that point, I thought we were going to have like a week or two deadline because the move would be done like that weekend or some shit.
Yeah, things
So
kept
I,
getting pushed around.
yeah, so I scrapped that idea. Then I had a terrible idea, which was, well, I'll do something funny and I'll make like a soundscape of a bunch of people beating a horse. And that was just fucking sad after, because again, you have to listen to that thing like a dozen times to see like if everything lines up. So then after like the third time of just hearing a nay, I was just like, okay, no more of that. So
Did you save that?
I deleted the file.
Oh,
Yeah, which is why I don't have a book report either, because through the process of all this, I just wasn't recording, so I thought it would be quick. What I ultimately ended up deciding to do is a little bit of a scapegoat cop-out idea, and you'll see what I mean here, but I present to you beating a dead horse.
I think I know what you're doing, Sean. Is it gonna be this for 2 minutes and 40? It's nice. I'm gonna say it's very nice, but that's hilarious.
Do you want to write it out, or?
Hey, I'm gonna listen to this thing. You can talk about your process during it. It's fine. Because this isn't easy to make either way, for me at least. I do like it. I think that's hilarious what you did, and I had a feeling you might do some bullshit like this. But I like that. I could see it being in like a game. Like
all right, so you get the point.
Yeah, I understand.
You get the point. You get
That's
the point.
so funny. That's really good, though.
Thank you. So we're just gonna switch back to your art here. So
That actually works pretty good having my picture with that playing in the background. I think that works just good.
hold on, I can.
Oh, it's a shame you deleted the actually beating up a dead horse thing.
Let's talk.
Let's dive into it.
So
Well, we just listened to yours. You got to talk a little bit more about that. You're saying so you had which was funny because you shot me a text or something. You're like, I had to stop. It was too sad. Or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. And
Yeah.
then I tried to do like I had another idea, and if I had more time, I probably would have been the idea I went with. But I was gonna make like an intro, like a trailer, like an audio trailer to like an old spaghetti western movie. So I had like a horse gallop, and then like a cowboy yell, and then guns fire, and then like Native Americans like doing their like battle cries and stuff. But that just like again, it was just one of those things I just couldn't get to work, and I just ran out of time with like the move, getting the house ready, like getting packed, having to pack my PC and like all the
Yeah.
equipment that came with it and shit. So I just said, fuck it, I'm gonna beat a dead horse like in like the most literal way I can musically, and then just take the same like it's I think it's an 8-bar riff. It might be 4. I don't know. I have to look at the file again, and then just copy paste that over and over and over again, and then just that repetition will just be literally beating a dead horse. But the challenge was I didn't want to make it annoying because I don't want to ruin the episode.
Tough.
So
We
I
could
tried
easily
to
ruin this episode.
yeah, so I tried to make it like one of the things you and I were always talking about is like the like ambient styles of music, and particularly like in video games is like it's like kind of an art style that it's like engaging and entertaining enough for you to listen to, but also not so engaging and so entertaining that it's all you focus on, and it takes away from
Right.
your immersion and like the gameplay aspects and things like that. So I also tried to go for more of like an ambient like cruise kind of vibe when I was going for it too. So I think I achieved that. I think that was my like I definitely found my ear in that piece a little bit more working with this stuff digitally. I don't have as much tactile feedback as I do with like the instruments I'm used to playing. Like on the guitar, I can say is like it's just my fingers move better on the guitar than it does on the keyboard and mouse when I'm trying to like express myself musically, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So like on the guitar,
Makes a
it's
lot of
like easier for me to visualize like, oh, if I need this to be like a minor third, I know where that is without thinking on the guitar. Whereas on the piano roll, because I've never played the piano, I have to think about that. But I'm like getting a little bit better with that the more and more I use it. So I'm brute forcing a lot less, and that song came very easy, and it was a time crunch, and it was like I just said, "Fuck it," I had to do something, and I knew you were
Mhm.
gonna do some bullshit like this that would make mine look stupid. So
Well, mine was a meme, so it just
so
ended
is
up.
mine, but yours is so much better.
It works because yours is a meme and mine's a meme.
Yeah,
We both memed it somehow. Like yeah, I mean, your thing, like you're saying, the game captured that. As I was gonna say, um, that that made me think about like I don't know, like in a top view game where I'm like adventuring around an area and that's in the background and I'm kind of like bopping my head while I'm playing. Like
yeah.
that was
It's
totally
like
captured that.
if like the original Grand Theft Autos came out today, but they were
Hmm.
like an indie developer company, that would be like the menu screen music, you know?
Yeah,
Of
yeah,
like if Vice City was a top-down scroller.
yeah. I mean, wasn't it originally?
Well, the first I think first two were. I know at least one of them was.
Yeah,
But yeah, so it's kind of funny that we both went for like a video game vibe.
yeah, yeah. I mean, we know what we know.
True.
Uh, but yeah, I mean, and my thing, like I again, I you and I just said we don't play much uh Dark Souls, but do appreciate it.
Hmm.
I like appreciate it even more after like doing this because like uh just the aesthetic of it is so interesting. Like once you really dig into it, it's just so like grimy and yet like you got you got like sharp edges and stuff. It's just so cool. I like it.
Yeah. Yeah, there's
Hard to
like
do though. There's a lot of detail.
yeah, but like it also seems so gray and muddy too at the same time. So like they're able to
Mhm.
like cut through all of that bleakness with their style. So like they're like overcoming their washed out palette choices through stylistic and characteristic choices, which I think is really neat. And I think you
Yeah,
captured that pretty well here too.
thanks. Yeah, I'm pleased. And like I learned style. Like actually each one of these I've had to like change up my style somehow. And now I guess I'm reinventing what my style truly is at this point because I'm using a different medium. But like there's so many things in this one specifically that I will be using in the future for sure.
Yeah.
Um are you able to zoom in on what you got here?
Yes.
Cool. Zoom in on the chest plate on the horse. So if you look at the top right of the chest plate, you can see where it's like highlighted um in the center part where there's all the squigglies and stuff.
Yeah.
So like the top corner of that, you can see like brown lines, and then inside of those brown lines is like a pale color. And then as you go further down and towards the middle, I transition out of that to having brown inside and then white as those lines. So essentially, it gives you a feeling of light is hitting up here and inside, but down there, since it's further away, light's only able to hit the ridges of these things. But when
Uh-huh.
you zoom way back, it like has a really cool lighting effect. And I liked that. I thought that was kind of neat. Like I just and like you see a little piece over there, it sticks out maybe a little bit more. I don't know. I'm gonna play with that in the future because I thought that was a cool technique. Um, which is really hard to do when you're because like you have to like make a mask and like lock the I forget the Photoshop word for it, but you lock something. And when you lock that, you're allowed to paint the lines, and when you unlock it, you're allowed to paint everything else. It's very weird, but it's kind of cool. What's he doing? Oh,
Hold on.
what's he doing?
Damn it, I was trying to add text to it and make it a meme.
Oh, I mean, you can, right? You could probably write it, but it'd be hard with the pen. The yeah, yeah.
Hold on. I'm not going to open Photoshop right now, but I was going to write
You.
Sean's song, Brian's art.
We can maybe if there's time, like let me know how long it'll take you for to edit. I'll like throw you a bunch of memes, and maybe we can have it at the end of this. Just have your 2 minute and 40 thing going with a bunch of memes of this.
Every loop is just a different meme.
Yeah, yeah. Let's see what we can do.
Oh shit.
This is a lot of fun though, and
Well,
and
I'm glad you had
like,
fun.
hey, I mean, oh no, I mean, I at the end I had fun, and this episode I'm having fun. Making this wasn't fun. I was pulling my hair out this whole time
Wow, tell me
because
about it.
it's a meme. So I'm like, it's simple, right? It's a little thing. Everyone's seen it. But as I'm doing it, I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. I've never drawn a day in my life. Apparently, I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And the struggle bus was real. Like, oh my god. Like I said, I felt confident once the sky was in, but man, once Photoshop was giving me issues, like the freaking brush turning into a pencil for no reason, and like uh I was running into just not being able to recreate certain effects and like trying to figure out how they did it and just all these like limitations that I'm just trying to learn. I had to like walk away so many times just putting my hands up like I don't know. I'll come back when I figure it out. I don't know.
Yeah.
Um but yeah. Yeah. So I think it turned out pretty nice though. I like the little graphical effects that I have on the very bottom. Like is almost like a texture over top of the texture.
Mhm.
That was something I figured out how to do, and I kind of like that.
Yeah, it adds like
Yeah,
a fog of war element to it.
yeah, yeah. And it was
Yeah.
weird trying to make fire without making fire. Like there's no fire anywhere on this piece, but yet you're like, oh, those are embers. Oh, that's like a glow. Because that's how the piece is. You're supposed to think about fire, but there's no actual fire.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a
Really
lot of
cool.
fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really cool. Yeah. So I mean, I don't really have a whole lot more to talk about my piece. I mean, it is beating a dead horse musically.
It is. I, I thought you were gonna do something like that first. When you mentioned the soundscape, I'm like, oh wow, okay. But in my mind, what I was thinking of, you can still do this, Sean. You can take this idea if you want,
But wait, there's more.
but there's more. You probably did it the best way possible, actually, because you didn't want to make an annoying thing. But I was thinking, like, you know how in EDM the thing to do in any EDM song is to have like the bass drop. And there's
Uh-huh.
always that build up, that build up, that build up, and then boom, and it changes, and
Mhm.
there's like and there's a bass. Well, like I was thinking you were gonna just keep having bass drops, just over and over and over. And over. You can still do that, but
If I knew how to do a good bass drop, I probably would
yeah,
have. Maybe,
yeah.
maybe, maybe
I mean, we
eventually.
could beat a dead horse again. That's the thing with beating a dead horse. You could just keep doing it.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe if I ever, well, I have an audio interface now. I can get a studio mic to plug into it. I could plug my guitars into it. Maybe I can write that country song after all.
It's it's so crazy to me that you're still able to make the stuff you make, but you keep telling me how limited you are. And oh, don't you? Because like every time you get more shit, your shit just gets better, and you come up with it a lot faster too.
Yeah.
Like you'll send me things randomly and be like, "Hey, check this out. I just did this while I was on the toilet." Or, or something. And I'm like, "Oh, okay." Like
It's
meanwhile, me 3 hours later making a perfect circle.
yeah, well that's one of the few benefits of having a manic depressive personality is when you're in those manic states, you get a lot of shit done.
Yeah, that's true. You got to recover from that depressive state. You got to get more stuff done because you didn't do
Yeah,
all that stuff.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, now that I'm done this move, dude, you just wait.
Oh, I know. You got that whole studio down there. That's gonna be cool.
Yeah, well, it's not
That's gonna
all
be
the way
real
set
cool.
up yet. I still have to do a few things. I have to get a desk down here for my equipment. I have a little
Yeah.
laptop. I want to get speaker monitors up here. I'm gonna start. My goal is I'm gonna start working on my first album.
Oh boy.
Yeah,
Really?
yeah.
Do you have a
The
name for it
genre.
yet?
Yeah, I'm gonna call it a Spud Wave.
Spudwave.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just gonna be chill music because everyone just needs to fucking chill.
Can that be a name of one of your songs?
It might be.
Everyone needs to fucking chill.
No, it'll be like chill music, and then in parentheses because everyone needs to fucking chill.
There you go.
Yeah,
Nice, nice. I'm into it. Yes, please. Yes, please.
yeah,
I want Spudwave.
yeah. So it's gonna probably be in like the theme of like the beating the dead horse, like a lot of the same instrumentation or like that style, but it's gonna
Yeah.
be a little more elaborate and
Well, you said you
detailed.
over time you've gotten more and more into like synthwave,
Yeah.
um, and just its ability to like calm you down, but also keep you active, but not bore you, also keep you interested. It's that perfect like kind of
Mhm.
middle. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I'm a big power metal guy as well. So it's like it's I like powerful melodies and like big bombastic sound, which is why I like metal so much because it just sounds so big. You know what I mean? Like it's got a
Hmm.
wide, real girthy, like big, bombastic. Like I said,
Like
it's
watching an action movie.
yeah. But I love power metal. So it's like where I get a lot of my inspiration for like writing melodies and riffs too, because I like
Mhm.
that style of just like kind of fast, but like also really hard.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Pause.
mean, whoa. And it's big. Did I mention how big it sounds? All right. What are we talking about, Sean? Yeah, it's interesting because I like EDM, I guess, is just, you're on the computer, so it's like easier and kind of more comprehensive to do that. But the fact that you're able to like break down your music tastes into the music that you're making, it's like I I don't know
Well,
how you're doing it, but it's cool.
it's the music that I learned how to play on the guitar, so it's just translating to my original stuff. Like I'm heavily influenced. Like Iron
Do it.
Maiden is like one of my favorite bands, like strictly because of their musicianship. Like most of their songs aren't that like they're not great radio songs, but I love them because they're interesting musically and they make sense. Like
Hmm.
it's like a weird mix of like they're kind of very jazzy, but they're also not like Dream Theater where their songs are 8 minutes long and it sounds like three different songs.
Right.
Like it's still a coherent song. Like Hallowed Be Thy Name is like my favorite fucking song. And it's a long one, but like the whole piece, it's like a rock opera, and I love that. It's so powerful, and the Bruce Dickinson, the vocalist, is just so fucking good. And they're a band that features like every instrument too, so the bass cuts through the mix so perfect. And you know how I feel about the bass; it's my favorite instrument. So to
Bass
hear
is
like the
good.
bass just thunder and gallop underneath like the metal guitars, you don't hear that in any other band. So they're basically like the metal version of jazz, but like smooth jazz that's palatable and not just noise. So that's why I like them.
When you say this shit, it just makes me want to re-listen to that stuff. Because like I'll listen to it with my view on it, or which I like. I like rock. I like metal. The bands you're into, I'm not into, but like I'll listen to them. But when you tell me these things, I'm like, all right, well maybe I'll listen to it again. And usually when I do, I'm like, oh shit, that's cool.
Yeah,
like like getting a different perspective on it not only makes you appreciate it differently, but also every time I re-listen to one of those, I'm like, I'll hear something I didn't hear before, and I'm like, oh, that's interesting. They used that instrument. What the hell? That's
yeah,
weird, but it worked. It's cool. Like
yeah,
that's always fun to stumble upon that.
yeah, yeah, yeah. There's like a lot of like Spotify is great for that because I found so many like obscure random bands that are just like because you've listened to this, you might like this kind of shit. So
Right.
music is huge for me. I fucking love music. So
You like
I'll
music?
listen to I'll listen to fucking anything too. Like
As long as it's good.
yeah, fucking Norwegian shit is crazy. Like not even just the metal. Like I've like my YouTube feed lately has been these people playing this weird like Scandinavian. It's like a harp but played like a violin. I don't know what the fuck it's called, but it sounds beautiful. And now I watch one video, and now that's all that's on my fucking feed.
A harp
So,
played like a violin. That's
yeah,
cool.
it looks so weird. It looks like a lute, but it's played with a bow, and like they use their fingers, but there's no fretboard. Like it's just free underneath, and they just like
Whoa.
hit the note. Yeah, but it
I gotta
sounds
look at
so
that. Sounds
crazy.
weird. That's cool.
Yeah, yeah, it's really cool.
I
But
heard of one instrument where they like string up the whole theater. Like there's strings that go through the whole theater and they play it I don't know how it works. I just heard about it. I'm like,
yeah,
it sounds insane.
that you would feel that more than you would hear it.
I think that might be the point. I don't really
Yeah,
know. I gotta look it up.
that's
It's called something, and only a few people know how to do it.
yeah, that sounds very hard because then you got to
Yeah.
make sure that that string can run all the way, like the whole length of the theater floor, but also be the diameter for the right pitch.
Some professor talked about it in class, and that was so long ago. I don't know what they said, but
Yeah,
I gotta look
that's
it up just to make sure I'm not
no, I believe
bullshitting.
you. It's just like that's like Stonehenge is perfectly fucking constructed to vibrate with drum circles. You know what I mean? Like that's the same idea as that shit. Like the resonation has got to
No,
like
I don't know
really.
what you mean.
You've never
Stonehenge
heard
drum
that?
set? No, I've never heard that. No.
They've done.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's so casually.
This is a sound thing, so that's probably why you've never heard it. It's they
That's
did
exactly.
acoustic. They did acoustic testings at Stonehenge with drums, and they found that like the layout of Stonehenge made like the resonation of the drums, like tribal drums, was like the acoustics were perfect in from like the center of there. So what they believe it was a ritual place where like shamans would play the drums, everyone would be a little drunk, a little
Oh,
high, and then you have the drums, then you got the vibrations of the sound waves bouncing off the walls, and then everyone's in a highly suggestible state from the rhythm. It's like a hypnosis, and then whatever substance and celebration they're on, and that's why they think Stonehenge was a thing.
huh. That makes a
One
lot
of
of
the
sense.
reasons. One of the
I mean, there's
reasons.
so many. ideas about it, but I didn't.
Yeah.
That's actually kind of cool because like the way they're positioned, the sound just bounces off of the different stones, and
Yep.
that's kind of cool.
But
I like
also
that. I
lets
didn't
it
think
pass
about it.
too, so it doesn't create like an echo as well. It's like just enough to
Oh.
resonate to like make it acoustically, like to make the noise powerful within the circle, but also not so much that it's just like an echo chamber.
So you're gonna set up your studio like Stonehenge then, right?
I have soundproof foam I got to put up everywhere because I'm
Just
gonna
set them
blast
up
all my amps.
like pillars around your desk and put them on top of them too, and
Yes.
just
Oh
make.
my God, you have not seen This Is Spinal Tap, so you're not gonna
No,
understand
no.
the reference.
When,
There's a scene in
whatever
the
you're about to
movie where
say.
the guy, like the lead singer of the band, draws on the napkin, like his manager of the band on like a bar napkin. They want like Stonehenge for their set, and he's like we need it 8 feet tall, and then he writes it on the napkin, but he does like the like 2 ticks for inches instead of feet because they're European and they're touring in America, so they don't know like the metric, like the imperial system, so they like the joke is they get confused. He's like, well, there's two, I thought it would be bigger, so I did 2 for feet. And how was I supposed to know they'd be 8 fucking inches? So it's like, so they get a little person to run around the 8-inch Stonehenge.
Can I
Yeah,
watch that on?
it's
I gotta.
so fucking funny. It's just
You
it's the most sarcastic and just it's so funny.
Final Tab. I know the movie. People, it's referenced all the time. Just watch the dang thing already. All right, Brian.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know if it's on anything.
It's not. You have to wait. I've been trying to get it on DVD off Amazon, but it's everyone's like scalping it, and I don't want to spend $40 for the fucking Blu-ray.
Yeah, YouTube, Redbox, Vudu, Prime, all of them you pay for, but okay. But like, even if it's on Prime, I still have to pay to rent it or whatever.
Yeah,
I'll do that.
it's worth the rent. It's definitely worth
Yeah,
the rent. It's fucking hilarious, and even if you don't know anything about like music, like it's just funny. It's a mockumentary. It's hilarious. It's pure
yeah.
comedy.
The joke that you made about the sustain, that one's my favorite so
Yeah.
far.
It's like, this is famous for its sustain, and he just picks it up off the wall, plays it, and he's like, do you hear it? And the guy's like, no. He's like, oh, well, if it were plugged in, you'd hear it.
The sustain.
Fucking great.
So funny.
Favorite comedy ever.
Yeah. Um. Yeah. I mean, I guess I can talk about me now, unless we're done talking about
No,
me.
yeah, go ahead.
All right, I'll talk about me. So like, um, get leading up to this, like I said, we both were talking about like, should we do something else? And then I'm like, all right, beating a dead horse. And then I was saying, I was literally gonna draw someone punching a dead horse with flies on it on the ground. So you and I both jumped to literal pretty quickly. For like
What's that say about us?
immediately actually. It says something on a spectrum. And then so like that's what I thought. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna do that. And then I'm like, no, that's too obvious. So I was like, well, beating a dead horse. Well, who said undead? Maybe zombie horse. And it just evolved into this. But as it evolved, it got harder and harder and harder and harder and harder. And the more times you texted me going, oh, sheesh, my move is pushed back. I guess we can record on a different day or something. I'm like, yes. Like, thank God, because I need more time. And then when we were going to record, I'm like, all right, I need more time because I just already invested way too much in it. But yeah, I'm glad that I did take time on it, even though like Dina got to see me in a whole different state of existence because like she's used to seeing me like if I get depressed normally, she knows what to expect, but she hasn't seen art depressed where
Mm.
I'm just frustrated and like tense and I'm just trying to figure out why I can't do something because I should be able to do it. Because like basically, like if I have my pencil and paper and I'm looking at something and I just draw, all I have to do, it sounds easy, but all I have to do is draw exactly what I see. Like the light's like that, I draw the light like that. That's it. So like I had a picture and I had it right next to it. I'm trying to draw it and I'm not able to do it. And it was just so frustrating. Um,
Yeah.
so I literally, because like I don't like to watch tutorial. I don't really like to watch tutorials. I don't like to look up Photoshop tools. I just like to play. I like to touch things and figure it out for myself generally. Um, but when I get to that point, like I have to, otherwise I'm gonna go crazy. So looked it up, figured out how to paint. There was like I did 3 different methods on this, which if I were to redo this one day, which I never will, because please warn me if I ever try to do this again. But I ended up doing like 3 different painting methods that I saw on YouTube. Like the guy, the background, and the horse, all different methods of painting with Photoshop. And I can tell looking at it, you might be able to as well. Like they all stand out in different ways, which might add to it, really, honestly. I don't know, but
Well, I don't think
yeah,
they're so different stylistically that it draws any attention to it. I think it just naturally like your attention moves to the different things because they have their own characteristics. They're not clashing.
that's good. I try, yeah. Well, you know
Like
what you were saying?
it seems like it seems like a Dark Souls world, right? Like you have the backdrop of like a medieval gothic like castlery, right? And then you
Mhm,
have the foreground of your out of place hero, and then the background is some monstrosity like amalgamation that shouldn't exist, or like some extreme hyper representation of whatever like sin they are, you know? So
mhm,
I think it fits that style. Like it's still stylistically it's still there, even though it's like a different brush or paint style that you used for it. I think the overall style, like just like choices that you made, makes it fit like what it should be. Like it should be different than the hero because the hero is different, and it needs to be different than the landscape because that's there as a backdrop. It's not. It's there for like ambiance, basically.
mhm. Yeah, I hear you. I'm still, and you're totally right. You're totally right. It's just like, when you're doing something, there's like parts in it or moments that just stick out to you, and you're like, I left it that way because I'm not going to touch it any more than I should.
Yeah.
And those are there. I know I did good. Other people are telling me I did good, so take it for what it is. But like one thing that bugs me the most about right now, I'll just say, I'll say it. His horse armor has all these lines on it. That's great. That's cool. But line art doesn't really exist except for maybe on the armor guy, maybe on some of the stuff in the back. But the horse itself doesn't traditionally have any real line work. It's just a thicker line. It just looks a little standout, and I feel like I could blend that in better. But whatever. Like each one of these, I think, getting better and better and figuring it out. So
Yeah.
I'm really just picking at it. But
Yeah.
I feel like I did it.
And we're also on a timeline. You know, I think that's the other important thing that we have to remember is that we have to like one of the ideas is that we put ourselves under these restrictions so that we make smart choices. Like
Yeah.
like not having to start over a project 7 times.
Yeah. Exactly.
So
Exactly.
yeah, I think it's just a learning
Well,
process. Like now we know what we're capable of in our time windows. Like you had a lot of time, and I think you took a lot of very big, brave choices, and I think overall it worked out for you. I had the same amount of time, but functionally a lot less than you, so I had to do something quick, and I found out that I could make something that sounds decent quickly. So I think under two extremes, with you with extreme time, just like this, if this is what you could put out in like 4 weeks of effort, I can't imagine what you could do with like a year of your own time. You know what I mean?
I'd probably go bald. Um, yeah, you're right. Yeah, like I think the time crunch is a huge factor. I mean, just doing this made me like I sent you a picture that I did using kind of the style choices I did in here
Hmm.
and with the muted color palette that I've learned from this and made my own other piece. And I did that in like an hour, maybe an hour.
Hmm.
And that was a couple days after doing this. So yeah, no, you're right. Like the next time I do something like this, I'll just be able to be a little quicker. I'm excited to see when we do these episodes and we're able to do some of this stuff live. Um, I think you and I are both getting a lot better to where that's coming more and more of a possibility.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, our my schedule is going to be a little more available for this kind of stuff moving forward. So
Mhm.
I plan on putting a lot more time and effort into it. I have the space to actually spread out and play these instruments now.
Heck yeah.
So I'm really fucking excited. The future is bright for my creativity. And also, I also have the space to hook up my drawing pad again, which I just discovered in my
Ooh.
things. So
Ooh.
I might go back to smudge art.
Heck yeah. No, your art's good. And I think I'm gonna download all the stuff and try to make some music too, because I know because I gotta
There's
get some practice. Because when we do eventually do that one challenge,
the Freaky Friday.
I need I
Yeah.
need some
There is a
practice.
free version of the software that I use available. So if you wanted to download that, I might even
Mhm.
be able to like help you out if you had some questions because the other ones I'm
Yeah.
not really too familiar with.
Ooh. Ooh, I just had an idea. Sorry, my ADD traveled to the future. Hold on. Oh, perfect. Beautiful. It's beautiful, Sean.
What?
You know what? You know what, Sean?
What?
Friday the 13th falls on in October, and I think that's a perfect day for Freaky Friday. Is Friday the 13th in October.
I agree with you, but I'm going to a wedding that day.
No. Wait, really?
Yeah.
Friday the 13th is the
Yeah.
wedding? That's
Yep.
awesome.
Yep.
That's
Yeah.
a cool wedding.
Yeah. Yeah. Brett, if you're watching this, hi.
Congratulations, Brett.
Yeah, yeah, it's a buddy of mine's wedding. Yeah.
Oh, wow,
So
that's cool.
sorry. I mean,
Oh, all
we could do
right.
Freaky Friday.
You need to tell them to reschedule it because we got to do the recording.
I
You know, it's what it is, dude.
I mean, I'll draw, and then we both can draw.
Straw at the wedding. No, but we'll get to that at some point. We'll figure
Yeah.
it out.
Yeah.
Do we want to figure out what our next episode is, though?
Yes. Yes, we do.
We
I
do.
think you pick because I'm gonna pick something selfish because of how much I fucking hated this project.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you know what, Sean? You moved. You were able to do this whole thing. You weren't satisfied with your pick. You pick the next project. That's okay. You've struggled enough. You
Okay,
do
hold on.
something
Let me
you want
find
to
the
do.
prompts.
Because
Um,
I got to have all the time on this one. Now you got a studio. You should play with it.
I just saw a funny one, but I don't want to punish you.
Don't worry about. I will punish myself more than. Don't worry about it. Go
Ew.
ahead.
We gotta stop.
No, I know. We really need to stop talking.
Random phrase generator. Okay. Here,
What do we got this time? Ooh, show the generator if you can.
I'm switching. Okay, I have an idea
Yeah,
to spice it up.
spice it.
All right, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to copy these into Discord, and I think
I
you and I should independently pick one of these 5 phrases without telling the other. And then next episode, we
It's a
present
good
it.
idea.
We present it, and then we have to guess which the other picked based off of our work.
All right, goody two shoes on the ropes. Short end of the stick. Flea market. Tug of war. Huh. Okay. Wait, hold on. Goody Two Shoes, a smugly virtuous person
Smugly
on the rope.
virtuous person.
Okay, it's hard to read on mine because it's all like
Here, I'll.
pixelated.
Bloop.
Oh, oh, on the ropes. Being in a situation that looks to be hopeless! Exclamation point. Short end of the stick. Getting the bad end of a deal or receiving the least desirable outcome from something. Flea market. A type of bazaar where I guess they are bazaars. A type of
I
bazaar
guess they
where
are redneck bazaars.
yeah, I guess they are, right? Where inexpensive goods are sold or bartered. Tug of war. Uh, it can be referred to. It can refer to the popular rope pulling game, or it can be mean struggling for authority. Okay, and then other random no.
No.
All right. Huh. I think I know which one I might pick, but yeah, let's surprise each other.
Yeah,
I like this.
I
Good
think
idea.
I
Good
think I
idea.
know mine. I know mine. I think this is a good idea for episode prompts moving forward too.
Yes. Agreed. I like.
All
Click that
right.
like button over there.
Yeah, do that.
Yeah. And then also people watching should click our like button if that'd be nice. But if you didn't like it, don't do that if you didn't like it. That was our episode on beating a dead horse. We both went crazy trying to make something. I guess beating a dead horse does make you go crazy. I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you and see you next time. Bye.
Bye.